there's a little guy. What's Chara? Chara, I think, is that right?
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing about Chara. He has scored 2 goals in 3 years.
I know.
Yeah. So like
That's
he did
the
that,
joke,
and you're like,
Joker.
that's amazing. What next? I mean, I woke up. I didn't get to see that game because it was on at 3 in the morning where I was, so I was asleep. But I watched the highlights and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like this
You're
is
fucking casual, asleep at 3 a.m. God.
yeah.
But I mean, the point is, there are like 5 guys in MLS who can really make that spacing happen that you need to be able to pass the ball around in the final third and be able to do the Barca shit.
Yeah.
Because and they're like, it's like Thierry Henry, Higuain, Beckerman maybe, Bradley maybe, and that's it. You know, not even Keane does that because he's a poachery striker, and the Galaxy doesn't do that anyway. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, the Galaxy has what has traditionally been, you know, the blueprint for MLS teams,
right?
Which is counterattack, run channels, get the ball forward fast, have people who can run onto it, and then, you know, they don't rely on big strong forwards to head the ball in. They rely on smart running to get in channels between center backs and between the fullbacks and center back. But like that's kind of the MLS model because you're dealing with less technically apt players, and I think it's something that is, you know, it's an interesting thing about the league is like what tactics can be supported by the players themselves and the coaches themselves either, you know, too. I mean, I think we've got some smart coaches, but I don't think there's anybody I don't know if there's any MLS coach that's going to go, and beyond just the prejudice against American coaches, I don't know if there's anybody who's going to go and actually successfully manage a team in England or in any top league in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Arena's definitely got MLS figured out. He has had for years, and you know, and for him, that's the key is to get your technically adept players like Donovan and Keane making weird cuts and weird passes inside the box, and then they score, and that works out.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, completely different topic. Let's listen to an interview with Clint from the Vanden Arms. It just feels like the right time to listen to an interview.
That was good.
Let's take a listen. You should cut it there.
Should we try like a slightly more smooth intro?
I kind of like saying, let's take a listen, and then just having the audio go.
I like it. It's fine.
We'll just kick off the interview tomorrow with, well, thank you for that exciting intro.
We're going to have to cut a lot from this episode, too.
What? What do you mean?
Just because time.
I'm sorry for my rambling
podcast.
I haven't like spoken to a soul all day, so when I got on and I started talking, it fell apart so quickly.
No, I mean, it's nothing like with what we're saying is bad. I'm just saying we're at an hour now.
We're already at an hour, yeah.
The interview's for like 20 minutes. We still have things to go for.
We could skip those things. What do we have left to say?
I put those last 2 things just in case.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Absolutely.
I do kind of like this last topic, though.
Oh,
yeah, I do too. I do like that topic. But listen, so I think we've got to start figuring out either we need to start releasing them separately. Like, I know there's actually a lot of podcasts that will do a hosts only and an interview. You know, so
I was thinking similarly. The only problem with that is we're gonna have to upgrade again. Or not again. We'll just have to upgrade to like a one that hosts more storage.
Oh, that's right. We get storage from.
Right.
What are we paying?
It's what is it? $10 a month, $9 a month, or something?
It's $10 a month.
So
I will gladly contribute to do what we need to do.
So yeah, I mean, it's only like $5 more a month if we want to do that, and I actually don't think that's a bad idea. Because
what are we at all in monetarily right now? Just out of curiosity, because I put in $45 Canadian last year, so like $40
Jesus,
for you
I put
guys.
in nothing. I didn't know you guys had all put in.
No,
money.
I was all setting up when we did it the first year, right? The first year we did it.
It was for last year.
Yeah, Dennis.
Yeah.
So just once that hits, just let me know and contribute 100%.
Well, so we
you know?
gotta pay it monthly, and I think right now it's tied to my PayPal account, which is fine.
I mean, that would be really easy for us to then upgrade and continue PayPaling you, so that it's just kind of a smooth transfer process.
Well, let's be sure of that, because I had to do some weird shit because they weren't giving us the storage that we needed. Remember, for what we paid for. So I'll have to look into that. But I do think it is, because I feel like that was over a month ago, and we're still getting. They still let us podcast.
Yeah, just send out an email to Josh and see if it's okay, and then since it's his PayPal account, and then if it's cool, then it's cool, right?
So do we release them as hosts and interview, or are we wanting to cut it in half so that it's part 1 and part 2? I mean, because I think the issue with the interviews is that we don't want to set a precedent of recording 2 nights consistently. I don't think that many of us can make 2 nights every week consistently. So
So
Barely make one.
The only time that's an issue is when it necessarily has to be on a different night, right? Because we've had people come in and be a part of the podcast, and it works out fine. And we can get it in under, like, people are listening to an hour and 10 to an hour and 15 minutes. They apparently have no problem with that. It's just, I don't want to stretch it to an hour 20 and an hour 30 every week.
Yeah.
And that doesn't generally happen if we have them here for the whole episode, which we do sometimes.
Yeah.
It's when we have a different day that gets messy, like it did last week, and I had to cut a lot.
Well, then I don't see a reason to format it. We can do what we've always done, which is, keep them here if possible, and if not, release it as a separate episode.
And I think we also need to be careful on those. When we're doing the interviews separately, we have to remember kind of the time footprint that we're looking at that point. I think that's another trap we fall into when we're just starting fresh on another day. We'll go for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is what happened with the interview last week with me. So.
What I did last year when I did a couple interviews is when we'd record the podcast first, and usually the interview would go afterwards, like how it is now. And what I would do is I'd let the guest, whoever is known, like two, 3 questions beforehand. A, is there anything you want to mention on the podcast indefinitely, like 100%? B, do you want to talk a long time, or can we get this done in our 12, 15 minutes or whatever, And then it's just a yes and no, trying to balance it out in that time frame.
Yeah,
so you kind of almost, in a way, set up the interview up a little bit beforehand. I mean, you don't want to get into actual questions, it's going to stale and stuff. You just kind of get an idea, right, of what they want to say. So you make sure you do everything, and then just start a timer on your desktop and put it to half the screen. So, like, you see it, like, no matter what, you know what I mean?
Right, and that's what I did for the geography guy, and that's what I forgot to do last week, and that's why last week went long.
But then again, sometimes like
out.
10 minutes or 15 minutes isn't enough time to cover certain topics with certain guests, right? So that's where the issue comes up again, I guess.
So I would just say we'll see how tomorrow goes. I'm gonna edit this tonight.
You can take like 3 or 4 of my rants out.
You can take a lot of what I said about that game because a lot of it was incoherent to begin with. So it's like, just cut out, just look for small sentences.
Yeah,
take
I'm
a
sure
lot of my crap
you can
out.
find space. Should we wrap it up then? Should we go with the? Do we want to?
Instead of bold predictions, let's all predict what team will get their first win.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Wait, can we? We should discuss on the air or off the air. What their matches are this week. I don't have. I guess I can pull that up.
Yeah, let's all look real quick.
Yeah, just so we know, so we don't fumble and yeah.
And so we'll come up with the same thing.
They do all play.
Montreal, Philly.
Hold on, you guys are gonna tell me, so I'm just gonna put it Montreal.
Montreal at home. Yeah, I guess you're reading it that way. Montreal, Philly.
San Jose's at home. San Jose is hosting Chivas.
Yeah, San Jose is hosting Chivas.
We got Portland and Chicago.
Portland's at.
So one of them. Never mind.
Where is Chicago?
Sorry, what did you say Portland was at?
They're at Houston.
They're at Houston. Yeah.
Chicago?
Chicago doesn't play this week, apparently. According
So
to
I don't
this.
think it's going to be Chicago.
Bold.
Wild guess. Bold prediction.
Bold prediction.
Might not be Chicago.
And then after that, Chicago hosts RSL, so it'll probably still not be Chicago.
Chicago, LA, Toronto have bye weeks this week.
All right, I'm gonna bring it back, guys.
All right.
Y'all ready for this?
Bum.
What a fantastic interview that we all know what it was because we definitely were going to put it yesterday.
That guy was
Those of us
incredibly knowledgeable and friendly.
I think so. I think knocked it out.
Well,
of the park.
Pete, it's right up your alley.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You know, I'm definitely a fan of the punk rock. If people hadn't guessed that by now, so it's a good guess.
Punk Rock Pete, ladies and gentlemen. All right, this week we're going to close it out. We are not going to do our normal bold predictions. We're gonna make it more directed, so we're not all just looking for stuff to say at this point in the podcast. So our new bold prediction this week is going to be what team is going to win their first game this week. Who wants to take it away?
As a Toronto FC fan, I shouldn't say this, but Montreal. Why not? Let's throw it up. Canadian love.
Yeah.
Wait. But you hate Montreal.
Yeah, but
But
you know,
Canadian.
I don't want to
Didn't-
see them
didn't
do
they?
well, but I don't want to see them do totally crap either. And like
So
Chris
it's a
is
very
saying,
polite hatred, is what you're telling.
it's always polite in Canada.
I'm
Only
Aw.
beavers and
I'm gonna-
maple syrup exchanges.
I'm gonna get a jump on Josh and say I think Portland's gonna beat Houston.
Oh, that actually is not what I was going to say. I was going to say I think San Jose is going to beat Chivas.
Oh, that will probably happen too.
That will, yeah.
But the Portland game happens first, so I think they'll be. Or does it? No, it doesn't. I'm kidding. Or I'm lying. It
So
happens
just so
later.
we're all on the
The
same
next day.
page, our choices are Montreal, Portland, San Jose, and of course Chicago, who has a bye week. But I mean, for them that might be a win. You know? That's the
All right.
deal.
So I'm going to make it a true bold prediction and say none of them. I think that Montreal either draws or loses to Philly. I think Portland draws or loses in Houston. And I think Chivas comes back and pulls out a draw in San Jose. I'm going to say nobody.
Well, the question is who gets their first win first. So like, it's not necessarily this week, right?
Oh,
So
jeez.
It could be.
Yeah, I got to look at next week's schedule, Ian. I didn't do that. I'm not prepared for next
Well,
week.
now I'm-
Yeah, that's.
Now I'm making you.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're gonna have Chicago host RSL. That's not gonna happen.
Portland hosts
Portland hosts
DC.
DC.
That's not gonna
Yes,
happen.
you got out of hand fast, guys. All right, I'm going to give it to San Jose still. I think that.
I think San Jose is going to win that game, but I also think that Portland's going to beat DC. I think they'll tie this
What?
weekend coming up, but I think they'll beat DC. What? I mean, they're actually
At home.
playing fairly well. Yeah, at home.
Yeah,
We're playing fairly well.
That'll be my prediction then. I'll say nobody does it this week, but Portland is the first because they'll do it next week.
You guys are mean.
It's not being mean. I don't think it's going to be like a spanking. I think it's just going to be probably like it's probably going to be a 1-0 win, and it will probably be like
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson missing a couple sitters, and you know
Eddie Johnson playing in Portland. Doesn't Eddie Johnson
Eddie
almost
Johnson
always?
playing in Portland.
Doesn't he
That's
almost always
different.
score in Portland?
He does. He does.
yeah,
But
he
is
usually
it the
does pretty
same
well.
when it's not Cascadia anymore? Like, you know?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
According to
Yeah,
my
but-
unbiased opinion, it does not matter at all.
Ian telling it like he thinks it is.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's been real. You can listen to us on Stitcher. You can listen to us on iTunes. You can listen to us on better Android apps that have better audio quality than Stitcher.
Yeah, Beyond Pod for Android is Punk Rock Pete approved.
Beyond Pod is Punk Rock Pete approved. I also was
Are we
using
on there?
Podcast Addict this week. That worked out for me.
We're on there. You can search for us. It's real easy. It'll automatically download every week or stream. I am not getting paid, by the way, for this ad. I just really like their service.
Someone, please, for the love of God, tweet at us.
We have a couple more followers, but no one else.
How about
Yes.
email? Did you check the email, Ian? Have we
Okay.
received any of the
Okay.
emails?
So first of all, we haven't said our email in a couple weeks, and the first time that I did say our email, I was wrong about it
Oh,
because
jeez.
it's
This is the longest closing that any podcast has ever had.
it's
Let's
slash
be-
MLS It's /MLSpodcast@gmail.com. And last
People are
time I said,
driving along in their cars, they're riding the bus, they're like, all right, what am I going to listen to next? No, it's just us closing up shop.
And Ian, how about snail mail? If people want to send us a postcard, where's that going to go?
Just
PO
don't-
Box
just don't do it.
90210, Paris, Ontario.
That's definitely
That one.
Wow, not
That is
gonna work.
definitely not a thing.
From the Canadian. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's call it.
Send it to Canada.
All right, it's been real. Y'all, get out of here. Peace.
That's where I'm cutting it off. To get out of here.
That was my Coach Taylor.
Oh my God, the Columbus Times follows us. Oh wait, that's not actually Columbus. I was looking at this. I was like, "Hey, Columbus Times." It's not. That's not even the name of the newspaper, is it? It's the Dispatch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What
So
is
the
it?
Columbus Times,
Slash
based in
MLS.
United States, Nevada.
So basically, the people that follow us are us
Us, yeah.
and the people that we've interviewed.
No, Church of God in Soccer. Church of God in Soccer. Who's
That's
that?
Aaron's blog, Aaron
Oh.
Flynn. He
We
was.
take turns interviewing everybody in the world. We will have such good followship.
Hey, so speaking of people to interview, there's a guy who was the left back for the Timbers who is always on our Timbers. And I keep meaning to just be like, hey man, do you want to come on our?
I
Because
was
there was.
tempted to just ask some of the rookie players because they're not doing anything else with their
Well,
time.
yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, I bet one of these guys would do it. But the thing about him that I thought was really interesting was he talks mad shit about Merritt Paulson. He's like, I've been around Merritt. I've had long conversations with him, and he fucking hates him. So I really want to get him on and just be like, hey man, everybody knows. Like, I want to see if I can like get some funny Merritt Paulson stories out of him.
Do
And
it.
he's a Redditor, so I just wanted to.
That's awesome. We should do that if we can.
I got some people here following us. Who is New York City Watch? Independent New York City Football Club coverage, the only soccer club to come from New York.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
On the Fire, an independent fanzine dedicated to the Chicago Fire.
Oh, that guy followed me and followed all of my projects after I wrote that article about how the fire sucks.
Oh my God!
Ah,
Oh my God! I
Faith
just
Timothy.
found. Hey, do you remember that guy who's a jackass? Who's the NYCFC fan that nobody likes now?
yeah.
Bam! He's on Twitter.
Ooh. He posted.
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy.
He posted a really shitty thing to Reddit today. That or
guy
not like
sucks.
really shitty, but just really misleading.
I'm telling you that guy is going to supplant Chance Encounter. Who I told him that I thought he was an asshole, and we like got into this whole thing. And I was just like,
I'm disappointed that this guy's followed by NYCFC. I'm not disappointed by that. NYCFC will follow anyone, but I'm disappointed that he's followed by our MLS leader.
But let's do let's do
Mr.
the number of tweets divided by number of followers, because that's not what. How has this guy tweeted 60,000 times?
I don't even know how
That's
possible.
bullshit. That's like a bot going.
Is it a lot of retweets, maybe?
It has to be, right? I mean, that's fucking ridiculous.
The tweets.
You can get like auto retweeters and things like that, where you say, okay, anytime NYCFC posts something, just automatically retweet it out to my.
Who's Andrew Padayak, staff writer for Call to the Pen?
Oh, he's a staff writer for Call to the Pen.
Right. Okay.
At some
Why is he? I'm just trying to figure out, guys.